ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to another round of your PSGL F4 season. We are here for my home race, the British Grand Prix. Also tonight, my co-host and your regular commentator's home race, and that is indeed Max Ring. Good evening, Max. How excited are we to be at the home of motor racing?
But yes, very excited for this evening. Of course, we're at Silverstone, arguably the best F1 track in history, and we are going to have an absolute cracking race. The championship is as close as it's all been all season. It is going to be an absolute blast. And Kotkas, it's going to be a pleasure to have you join me along the way.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited to have my first taste of PSGL action, and well, a few of these names on here are names that I know very, very well. The man on top, though, at the moment, don't know him so well. Yernej Dovzan, I think, is how I'm going to say that. He is topping the standings at the moment in the Haas with a 125.566. His teammate Gabriel Pinto is down in P13. And at the moment, we're watching with Daniel Gottschalk. We won't watch with him for too long because he is on an outlap. They're all on their outlaps, the drivers out. And yeah, we started the stream slightly late, so apologies there. But the drivers have had their opportunities to get their first laps in. And at the moment, Dovzan is the cream of the crop. Campbell Adams in second, half a tenth behind. And Lighty only 3 thousandths behind him. Then a big gap back to Kai, and then another big gap back to Alessandro Finn, Dennis Langrock. And then most of the pack with Paulo Afonso, Gabriel Pinto, and Menno de Beva not setting competitive times yet. But Isaac Leet and Daniel Gottschalk have come across the line. They're going to start their laps, and we're going to take you on a lap around Silverstone. So watching on board with Isaac Leet as he heads through Sector 1. And who was that? That was Janej Dovzan dropping to P18 on my screen. I'm not sure what's just happened there. But he's dropped out anyway. We're watching on board with Isaac Leet. We're going to focus on the McLaren's lap. The McLaren is going to look to beat his teammate, but not with a big slide like that. He's not with 125.7 being a pretty strong banker. And we'll see what his teammate is capable of. Coming through now, Stowe, keeping it, maybe lifting a little bit. No break, though, involved there. And then he's going to come through Maggots and Beckett's, the famous section that he's going to try not to invalidate, getting very close to an invalidation, keeping one tyre on the track. But he's gotten through there pretty okay. He's gotten through there pretty valid. He's gotten through there allegedly with the purple sectors. We've got lots of drivers out on their laps. Bogdan Moldovan, 125.673. Don't know why it's come up at the top as fastest lap, because it is not actually, as Isaac Leet is going to come into the pits. He's not going to complete that lap.
Yeah, that lap seeming very scruffy there from Isaac Leet. Many a mistake and many a correction being made. Daniel Gottschalk now coming up to the line. Of course, he's not set a lap time either. Both of the Mercedes haven't set a lap time yet. Daniel to the line. He goes up into 6th place, only just behind Kai in front of him by 4 thousandths of a second. Lucas Baesner comes into the pit lane as well. He's not completing his next flying lap, so he has not got a time on the board alongside Ian Van Unen and Isaac Leet, who is the furthest round on one of their laps. I think it could be the Aston Martin of Ian Van Unen, actually. So I think it's his first race here in F4. And Ian, he is coming from the console side. I'm not sure how long he's been on PC4, but he was a console racer before this. And for Ian, his first race in F4 is going to look to come in with a bang in the Aston Martin, heading through Copse Corner now. That was very nicely done there from the Aston Martin. Now into Maggots. Then you lead it into Beckett's. Keep flat out all the way to Chapel. You then do a slight lift, use all the circuit on corner exit. He's got a purple middle sector apparently for 1:02.437. So for Ian, heading up into Stowe now, he's going to be braking around about 50 meters. Clip that inside curb, make sure you don't lose the rear off camber on the off camber traction point, and then into the Vale chicane. You then clip that first apex curb, clip the second apex curb, try get the power down as smoothly as possible as you head through Club Corner. What's it going to be for Ian? It's going to love 4P5, a 25.724, and Campbell Adams picking up where he left off last week. and go straight to the top of the times. That is your championship leader, everybody. A 25.490, 5-point gap over Alexander Dimas and Exafox. Exafox going up into 5th. And Dimas and Exafox tied on points. What is Alexander Dimas doing on his lap? He's heading through Stowe, and he's nearly 2 tenths up in that first sector.
Yeah, strong start as Lighty goes up to the top of the timesheets. 125.411, and he jumps from 3rd to 1st. So TTM driver on top. Another TTM driver could look to improve, but his second sector is down on his time by about 6 tenths. And the Red Bull now will be flying through the final sector as quickly as he possibly can. Try not to invalidate. He's used pretty much all of his ERS in that Red Bull car. Coming around now the final couple of corners. He needs to improve by about 5 tenths if he gets pole. He's up by 1.5. And he's going to come across the line, improving by a 10th. So 8th place for Alexander Dimas. He's into the top 10, but nowhere near where he would be aiming for. Just trying to have a look, see who else is on a lap. Kai is on a lap, it looks like. And we'll see if he actually is. No, he's not. He's 3 tenths down through the second sector, so I lie to you. But who else? Menno de Bever is on... No, he's not. He's on an in-lap. Paulo Afonso's on an in-lap. I think everyone else is just getting prepared for their final runs.
Yeah, some of them are. Isaac Lee and Baisner, the drivers who haven't set a lap time so far in this session, now on a lap time. They're both closely following each other on the circuits. They head into Village Corner and now into the loop for the McLaren of Isaac Leet. Of course, his teammate Kai currently sitting in 4th place. And we saw Isaac have a really scruffy middle sector, and that started off through the Brooklands Lovefield complex. Nicely done through Brooklands. Should then head up into Lovefield. Many lines you can take through here to try and get the best exit as you possibly can, and that was a lot nicer. It was a lot more tidy from the McLaren driver as we now head through Woodcote and up the National Pit Straight as we head into Stowe Corner. Flat out, keep it in 7th gear. If you go up to 8th, you bog down too much and you'll lose too much momentum heading down into Maggots and Beckett. You then flick it to the left, flick it to the right, then back to the left once more, and then to the right. Again, of course, this is the corners that the Texas S section, is based off of 1 minute 2.3. This is going to put him around about that Ian Van Unen, Bogdan Moldovan area so far, Isaac Lee, as he heads through Stowe Corner. This is going to be a very nice lap to set probably his one and only time of the session as he heads into the Vale chicane. Now nicely done over the curbs. Another little slide of the rear end, but up to the line for Isaac Lee. Where can he go? He just pips his teammates to 4th place. Baisler to the line. He demotes Isaac Lee to 5th and moves up to 3rd. A brilliant lap time there from Baisner and Leet. They have set their benchmarks, but they have to really hurry themselves into the pit lane because they've not got much time left in the session to set another lap time.
Indeed, they don't. Just 5 minutes, or a touch over 5 minutes left in the session now, and most of the drivers are coming out of the pits now, or if not, they're very, very close to that push point to come out and set their final laps. Daniel Gottschalk, though, he's gone against the grain. He's going to avoid the traffic because, obviously, we do have ghosting on, so the drivers will not be making contact with each other, but even still, it gets in your head to have those drivers ahead of you. You can't quite see your braking points because, of course, we don't have any racing line. But Daniel Gottschalk improving just a little bit in the first 2 sectors. He's going to need to find some time in this final sector if he wants to improve significantly. At the moment, he's only jumping above Ian Van Unen into that 8th place onto the 4th row of the grid. But Daniel Gottschalk, round the final couple of corners, it's going to be a 125.686. So indeed, he only does jump Ian Van Unen, and he moves up into 8th place. Looking to see anyone else on lap. Bogdan Moldovan has just started his. He's currently in 5th place. Bogdan Moldovan, who should be looking to improve by a 10.5 if he wants to get onto that pole position ahead of Lighty as his teammate jumps up into 8th place. But Bogdan 7 tenths down, so maybe he's preparing for one more run he's just trying to burn the fuel on this lap as much as he can, and then the next lap he will be able to absolutely fly. Or maybe he's on an in-lap, actually, because that ERS usage does not suggest someone who is on their out-lap. Kai has just improved, actually. He's gone 1,000th quicker than Exafox. Would love to see a 1,000th gap between 2 drivers. We also love to see a 100th gap between 2 teammates, which shows how close this grid is, and they are 2 of 5 drivers currently in the 1:25.6 Kai, though, with a purple first sector. His lap could be even better than expected, and he now heads down towards Stowe Corner, down the faux start-finish straight, as it would be. Only he and Biedzinski are on the track at the moment, as we've got 3 minutes left on the clock. This will be Kai's most likely final run, as Biedzinski has just set a lap that was good enough for 8th place. So he will be hoping that he can get back in and then back out in time. But Kai up again by a 10th and a chunk. And we should be seeing a lap that could be good enough for the top 4 at least, if he's able to hook up this final sector. The CPR driver now with 2 corners to go, now with just 1. And he's going to come around, try and go flat out through the final one. What's Kai got to offer? He's got a 1:25.418, 7 thousandths off of the pole position time of Lighty at the moment. And that is probably the last that we're going to see of the McLaren in this session.
It certainly is, and we know the McLaren so far this season have been so strong in qualifying, especially Kai, and he just misses out on that pole position. He's now got to start a best of second, but with this missed time run, everybody else is going to have a bit of a better track than he did. This track is going to be the fastest. It will be all session, and these laps are the ones that count. No redos, no retries. It is just hard, flat out pushing all the way for the next 1 minute and 40 seconds. The first driver to be setting a lap time is last time out's pole sitter to race winner, Alexander Dimas. Currently sitting in 12th place, will be looking to improve off that. Got his first win in 2 seasons in Monaco last week. And be looking to try benefit off that again. 5 points off the top of the championship, and his lap starts now. Heading down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight and up into Abbey. Nicely done from Dimas. Don't want to bottom out too much, but taking too much of those apex curbs as we now head into Village. Braking down to 3rd gear, then get slightly back on the power. As you then keep it in 3rd for the loop. Try and get the power as best as you can. Down on the exit of the corners, you head through Aintree and DRS Open. Down the Wellington Straight. Alexander Dimas, what's this going to be in the first sector for the Red Bull? He's down by nearly a 10th of a second, so a lot of work to be done over Sector 2 and Sector 3. Now through Luffield, keeping a tighter line than most, running the car all the way to the outside curb as you head through Woodcote. Now keep it nice and tight through there and bring it all the way to that left-hand side. Don't get it on the curb, because that will bottom out your car ever so slightly and really affect your turning, but that was nicely done through Copse for Alexander Dimas as he's now heading through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. What is it going to be for the Red Bull man? Nicely done on the exit of Chapel, and he's only up by a 1,000th of a second, so he has found about a 10th in the lap time, but of course due to those unfortunate mistakes in the early parts of this lap, he is not going to be improving by enough for pole position. Nicely done through Stowe. It's going to be all commitment through the Vale chicane and club corner to at least try and break into the top 10 runners. So for Dimas, up to line, where can he go? He goes 11th fastest, found another 10th in that final sector. That's Lighty improving on his lap time to a 25.3. Campbell Adams currently sitting in 3rd fastest. Basner can't improve enough to move up into 3rd place. He sits in 4th. Campbell Adams, Isaac Lee now up into 3rd. But what can the Williams do? Your championship leader, can he snatch pole away? No, misses out and doesn't improve on his lap time. Next driver to the line is one of the Aston Martin cars, and that's Exafox. The man sitting his lap. He would have been good enough to actually jump at Campbell Adams. Alessandro Finn up into 5th place now. He had a really good performance last time out in Monaco as well. Gottschalk is on a lap time. Moldovan and Dozvan are currently heading through the middle and final sector respectively. The Haas driver up by a 10th. Keep your nerve here, Yerne, and you could maybe see yourself hit your first pole position of the season. Here comes Yerne Dozvan to the line. He stays goes up to 3rd fastest. Unfortunately, was not able to find the time he needs. Moldovan has invalidated. Gottschalk now coming to the line. Where can he go? He goes up into 6th place. So that is going to be the end of your qualifying session. It's TTM Lighty on pole position for Alpine. And that is our 3rd different pole sitter of the season. And for Lighty, That was really well done there. And also, for Campbell Adams, when it comes to his championship permutations, Exafox down 11th, Dimas down in 13th. He starts up in 5th. That would have been a perfect qualifying for him.
Indeed, with how close this is, you're going to struggle to make those overtakes. But confirmation then of the grid. TTM Lighty on pole position, Kai in second. Then it's Yone Dovzan, Isaac Leet, Campbell Adams, Daniel Gottschalk, Alessandro Finn, Lucas Beisender, Bogdan Moldovan, and Dennis Langrock that rounds out the top 10. Then it's Exafox, Krzysztof Bedinsky. Whoa, that's not one that pertains itself very well to the British accent, is it? And then Alexander Dimas, Ian Van Unen, Menno de Bever, Ian Schummer, Gabriel Pinto, Paulo Afonso, and then Teo Bulnesh rounding out the grid. And don't get excited, people. It is not actually raining in the session as far as we're aware yet, because the likelihood is that we're going to have a lobby restart. But we can talk about now we can start by talking about the championship first before I bring up any of the standings, any of the exciting bits, let's be honest. But yeah, the calendar. Let's talk about it first. We are now over halfway through. This race will mark over the halfway mark of the season. We're in Britain, and the next week we head to the Netherlands and then Saudi Arabia before our festive break. After that, we head to Japan, Vegas, and then Bahrain to round out the season. So a decent collection of tracks, but Britain's the best one of them, surely.
Yeah, I mean, Britain, always a very interesting track to go to and a very fun track to go to as well. And it's really a track that most drivers will be very, very comfortable on. Probably the circuit where we see the most equality between the drivers' pace and their times and their confidence levels. So it's good to see that this is round 7 of the season and maybe not one of the early races. So this is where someone who's not had a great season can revitalise their second half of the season and try and start off with a bang and maybe try and climb their way up the order as much as they possibly can. Of course, this is the final race, really, where you can try and make your championship fight come alive if you're someone that is about 20 points behind in the championship, about 30 to 20 points. This is the final race to really cement yourself as a championship challenger and to really get your campaign underway. But once we get past this evening, it's all going to be about the drivers within that top 4, top 5 region of the championship, and that is going to be all the way through the Netherlands. Brilliant track in the Netherlands, and if Myth is here next week, it'll be his first time casting his home race in the Netherlands. Saudi Arabia, of course, the fast actioned street circuit. That is going to be an absolute cracking race. And then to end the season off at Bahrain, it's been quite a staple to end seasons off at Bahrain's in most leagues now. There's usually the start of the season, but most in real life, and in most leagues, it is now the end of the season. And what a way to end it off under the lights. And hopefully we have the championship go all the way down to the wire. Currently, it's upper hand to Campbell Adams. He's on 51 points, but with Exafox on 46, joint with Alexander Dimas. They're both 5 points behind your championship leader, Campbell Adams. And you got Kai just a little bit further back. He's 16 points away from Campbell Adams. He's on 35. And it's 32 for Lighty, 28 for Bogdan Moldovan. Gottschalk on 27. Of course, he picked up that race victory in Texas, and Moldovan picking up the race victory in Qatar have boosted them up the standings by quite a margin. Isaac Leet in 8th with 25 points. Then you got Teo, also joint with 25 points with Isaac Leet, and Menno de Bever in 10th place on 20 points. But currently, we've had 6 different race winners in 6 races. Cockcast, the question is tonight, with Lighty on pole, can we make it 7 from 7?
Well, interesting to note as well that your championship leader has not picked up a single race victory. So if it's going to be 7, then the likelihood is that it is going to be Campbell Adams that does take that victory. But then you could get a surprise. Someone like Kai, someone like Lighty, who, as you mentioned, he is on pole position with an absolutely ridiculous time, 7 hundredths of a second quicker than Kai in second. So 2 drivers who I think will be desperate to prove themselves on the F4 stage here tonight. And yeah, I mean, Lighty, who's not really, excuse the pun, this is going to be a really bad pun, set the world alight so far this season in PSGL PCF4. He's just, well, I mean, he took second place in Qatar, but other than that, no podiums to his name, 2 DNFs as well. So he's going to want to really just try to chuck himself into that championship contention. He's obviously 19 points behind Campbell Adams at the top. And as you say, this is probably the last opportunity for those drivers not in the top three odd to fight their way forward, because they would be a race win off of, well, they are a race win off of the championship leader at the moment. They would be even more. So they would have to have 2 races go their way in order to fight their way up to take that victory, to take that challenge to the man on top currently, Campbell Adams. But yeah, I mean, with that 5-point gap at this point in the season, that will give him a little bit of wiggle room at the top. That is Adams. But yeah, Exafox, Dimas, they will be looking to challenge. And what better place to challenge than Silverstone, where it's such an open circuit. It's such an entertaining circuit, and one that pertains itself to racing quite significantly, actually, because of just how open it is, how many overtaking zones that you have in front of you. 18 turns, 5.891 miles, and, well, 2 DRS zones, but 2 DRS zones that do pertain themselves to overtaking. You see some that are just about keeping the drivers behind as close as they possibly can, but then you're seeing overtaking spots into turn 6, into turn 9, if you're brave enough, turn 15, turn 17. You've got so many opportunities, or turn 16, sorry, so many opportunities to make those overtakes. It's just about how gutsy you are as a driver. And I think quite a few of these drivers, from what we've seen of them in previous weeks, they're not afraid of making a move.
No, they're certainly not. They are always looking to prove themselves. Of course, being in F4, they've still got F3 and F2 to go through first. And they want to win this championship. They want to make those gutsy moves. They want to put themselves on the map. And by doing that, you've got to be a little bit risky with your overtaking strategies and your overtaking maneuvers. But yeah, this circuit, such a brilliant track to just watch all these drivers battle it out tooth and nail. Slipstream plays such a big part, especially all the run all the way from Luffield through Woodcote up to Copse and then Maggots and Beckett's all the way to the hangar straight into Stowe. Slipstream is such a big part of this circuit, and it's very difficult to break out of that DRS range. You've really got to do it on the first lap of this Grand Prix if you want to do it at all. But still, it's very, very easy to fall straight back into the clutches of the field behind. Strategy tonight, unlike most circuits on this game, we are going to have a soft, medium soft strategy. So for once here in PSGL PCF4, we're not going to see your bog standard medium hard, medium runners. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers face this. Of course, the soft tyre doesn't really get much action during the race. And Cockcats, we're going to the lights already. That was quick. Take us away.
It's lights. And it's action. We're away here in Britain. Lighty gets a great start. Kai is drawn alongside by Jernage Dovzan, who tries to take that P2 off him heading into the first couple of corners. And, well, Jernage Dovzan actually ends up taking that second place off of him. Isaac Leet and Campbell Adams trying to challenge behind, but they get caught up with each other. And Adams is holding that inside line. Leet with the outside line. And seemingly with the exit, the slipstream as well off of his teammate benefits them. And he is up into P4. Down the inside, though, goes Alessandro Finn on Daniel Gottschalk. And, well, Campbell Adams getting tangled up in that as well somehow. And the man now down in 6th place. He could drop to 7th with Daniel Gottschalk behind. But we've got so many battles going on side by side. Pretty much everyone from 8th to 19th. And they've all ducked out of it apart from Moldovan and Exafox as Moldovan gets ahead. Dimas is looking to get ahead of Exafox as well as they head now through the next sector up to the Sector 2 split time. But Dimas is going to have to stay behind. They all tucked in after Stowe. And Lighty, they're all tucking in behind the Alpine as he leads. Heading to the end of lap 1 now But Jonas Dovzan looking incredibly racy in that P2, looking ready if he's able to take that opportunity to move up. I think that was Alexander Dimas as well in the background, going for a move. Indeed, it was on Exafox, and he's trying to head around the outside, unable to. But there's battling right behind him as Beisler and Budzinski fighting as well. Budzinski trying to go to the inside line of the final corner, but he could fall into the clutches of Dennis Langrock very, very soon as, well, that exit out of the final corner eventually didn't cost him too much as he sends it down the inside. Does Dennis Langrock on Budzinski, and he's trying to hold that move. And he's going to get the grip on the outside line. Is he going to get that move done? Is he going to make it stick? He's going to go for it again. He's being squeezed right to the inside line. It is Dennis Langrock, but he's still holding on to it. I mentioned how they like to get racy here in PCF4. And Dennis Langrock and Budzinski just giving us a little teaser of what's to come.
Yeah, he certainly is, and crucially, Dimas getting past Exafox and the side-by-side up into Cops. That was between Ian and Menno. Ian Van Noonen coming out on top, though, as we now head into Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel Light. He still leads the way. Menno has, unfortunately, I think that was a little lag spike backwards throughout the field. So, unfortunate for the Ferrari driver to drop down to 18th place, and now under pressure from Tail Bournes behind. Further up, Lighty versus Yerne Dozvan. Yerne just not close enough to go for a move into Stowe Corner. The two McLarens following in a hot pursuit of Kai and Isaac Lee. They're in third and fourth. And for Campbell Adams, crucially for him, it may not have been the greatest of starts from fourth on the grid, but he was still able to stay in front of his two championship rivals of Alexander Dimas and Exafox, who's now dropped behind Lucas Beisner, and Budzinski and Langrock still going, squabbling through turns 1 and 2. Schumann out to the inside line. That was opportunistic from the kick Sauber to try and get 2 in once into Village Corner, but he wasn't able to put it off. Now squeezed wide by Dennis Langrock. Further up, Moldovan and Dimas now squabbling over 8th and 9th. Dozvan able to get in front of Lighty for the race lead. Moldovan able to just stick in front of Alexander Dimas, though. But the man who won last time out, looking ever so racy so far in his Red Bull and looking to make pay. You can see the championship leader, his championship rival, just 2 cars further in front of him. They'll be looking to give him hell heading in to the closing stage of this Grand Prix. Everybody, surprisingly, on the medium tyres. No alternate strategies in this Grand Prix, and that is crucial when it comes to that strategy. For the McLarens, they're probably in the worst place possible. They're both in 3rd and 4th, so close together, one will have to stay out. As there, we see Lighty to the inside of Yone Dozvan. That was a defensive attack to make sure he doesn't get overtaken by Kai. He's back into the race lead from pole position. But at the minute, it's all quiet between Campbell Adams and Alessandro Finn. This is now just finding your rhythm, finding your feet, managing those tyres and battery, and make sure you're in the right spot come that pit window.
Someone should tell Ian Van Noonen about that. He's just gone for one of the best moves I've ever seen on this game, ever. Because he's gone to the inside of the little section at the end of Sector 2. And somehow he's managed to slingshot himself past Adam Schumer, who I believe has damage. But still an incredible move. And one for the record books. But now looking further up, Kai closer than ever to Jonas Dovzan. Jonas Dovzan closer than ever to Lighty and Isaac Lee. Still waiting in the background. Some moves are ready to be made. Budzinski and Exafox switching with the DRS. But to the inside goes Dennis Langrock, who tries to get a switchback move on. He could be making a move into Stowe. Do you dare, Dennis Langrock? Do you dare? He's holding that inside line. He's going to go for it. And it's going to be successful. Exafox just realising that he was actually going to make that move. Just backing out of it, knowing that it's only lap 4 of this race. And Dennis Langrock, for him, that was a huge move, because now he can go and re-attack Krish Budzinski for that P11 spot. Jonas Dovzan and Lighty swapping positions in the meantime. That DRS just benefiting the Haas as he's able to move past Lighty, and he moves up into first place. We could be seeing a fight now between Alessandro Finn and maybe Campbell Adams for that P5 spot, as Adams just looked to the outside, tucking back in. It's not his move again. Jonas Dovzan with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And the Haas at the moment, and the Alpine looking the quickest of the lot. Don't count out the two McLaren boys, though. They are teammates. They will work together to see if they can get past Dovzan and Lighty. They're just waiting for their opportunity.
They certainly are, and it's disaster for Exafox. The reason he's dropping back so much, he's picked up a bit of left front end plate damage. It is missing, and that really is going to hinder one of the championship protagonists. Further up, I did see someone peek out to the left-hand side. I think that might have been Alexander Dimas and Bogdan Moldovan once again, and still not able to get by the V-Carb is the Red Bull driver as we head out of left field up into Woodcote. And we'll see if anyone's going to look for a risky move into Cop's corner. No, they are not. As we head through the right-hander, keeping it in 7th gear. A little bit wide from Alessandro Finn. This could maybe be the time where Campbell Adams can pounce. Get in front of the Scarlet Red Ferrari and try and make his way forward to the Papaya McLaren duo. DRS open then for Campbell Adams. Of course, Alessandro Finn will have the same aid heading down this straight, heading into Stowe corner. Is he going to get close enough for a move? No, just backs out of it again. Not risking the overtakes. Knows he's got the track position over the likes of Dimas and Exafox. And that is going to be absolutely crucial. He's going to be thinking of the bigger picture already. Yes, it's only round 7 of 12, but you still have to think about your championship challenge. That's exactly what it seems that Campbell Adams is doing. Just sitting behind Finn, but with a run like that, he could go for a move into Village. Is he going to look for it to the right-hand side? No, once again, just sitting behind the Scarlet Red Ferrari. And I think we're going to see this for the rest of the stint, because it's all just stay as you are. It's a high-speed game of chess. Attack come the end of the race. But I say that, he's on the attack now after a poor run from Alessandro Finn. Looking to the outside line is Campbell Adams. This might invite Daniel Gottschalk into the squabble. But once again, no move being able to be made there from Campbell Adams. And he's now under pressure from the Mercedes behind.
Yeah, they're all pretty much in the same situation in terms of their tyres, in terms of the ERS and the DRS, as well as they're just like, they're settling back into it as, well, almost, again, we've almost had a moment where Campbell Adams has been able to pounce on an Alessandro Finn mistake, with the Ferrari just starting to have a couple of issues. As in front as Campbell Adams, big slide out of Sector 2, and Daniel Gottschalk looking to take advantage to the outside line. Lighty and Jonas Dovzan swapping for the lead in the meantime. So is Kai. As Kai gets through on Dovzan, he's looking to the outside. Is the Haas? But Kai just holds on to it. That could be crucial for both the McLarens in this race. The fact that he's been able to get past Jonas Dovzan. But in the meantime, the Haas will be looking to make that move back. Kai just defending perfectly as he can. Just covering off as much as he possibly can. And, well, at the moment, Jonas Dovzan dropping back 4/10 behind the McLaren now. And I don't think he'll be going for a move any time soon. Someone who I think is shaping one up, though, is Alexander Dimas, who again was looking to the outside of Moldovan, trying to force a mistake out of the RB driver. And now heading down with the DRS. He's unable to make any inroads into the ET8 driver. And they're just going to stick where they are for the time being. Lap 7 of this Grand Prix. And Menno de Beva makes his way past Teo Bullner's Gabriel Pinto, looking for that move as well. He's not able to make that. And he's going to stay behind in P17. So a tale of frustration at the moment for the two Haas cars. Gabriel Pinto down in P17. And Jonas Dovzan quite significantly higher in that P3 spot. But DRS is going to be available to him one more time. And Kai is 7/10 behind Lighty. So he's got the slipstream, does the Haas. And the McLaren has no such luck as Dovzan just can't close in enough. Kai just about was able to pick up on that slipstream from Lighty. As, well, he's going to look to the inside. Maybe. No, he's not. We've got more fights going on between three of the raciest drivers this evening. Dennis Langrock, Ian Van Unen and Chris Budzinski. And Ian Van Unen making his way past the other RB as Dennis Langrock picks up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in his attempt to catch up to Lucas Beisner. He's caught up by about 8/10 on that previous lap. And he'll be hoping to do another 8, maybe 9, as they head through on lap 8 now of this Grand Prix, with the Alpine trying to work his way back into the fight for the points positions. But Jonas Dovzan, he's got higher aspirations as he continues to try to force a mistake out of Kai. That's what it is at this point in the race. You're trying to settle in yourself while trying to unsettle others. And Daniel Gottschalk, he's got the opportunity to unsettle Campbell Adams. Power is down. ERS is full. And the Mercedes is going to try to fight away for this P6 spot. But at the moment, he's just going to settle in, as that was a groan of some sort of overtaking possibly being made. Jonas Dovzan, he's tight on the back of Kai. Is that the move you're talking about?
Yeah, it was. Kai went wide through Kopp's corner, and that allowed Yerne to just draw alongside. He backed out of it, did the Haas. He thought smarter of it into Maggots and Beckett. But is he going to go for the move this time around? No, he's just going to rest that battery, not waste any unnecessary energy, and then just sit behind the McLaren once more. But he really got close to making the move on Kai. Just wasn't alongside enough, really, to warrant space into Maggots and Beckett's, but he really did get close to making that move. Isaac Leet with a slide out of the final corner. This puts him under pressure from Alessandro Finn. There's a yellow flag. I think that was for Gabriel Pinto in the Haas. He's now down to 18th place, 1.5 seconds off the back of Adam Schummer. But look at that, up at the front of the field, Lighty has been taking a different line through the loop than everybody else. He takes a wider entry, really misses that apex, and then cuts back across. And he manages to get the power down nice and early and keep his position to the cars behind. Dosvan still looking to try and force an error, try and make that mistake in front from Kai. And he's still under pressure as well himself from the other papaya McLaren of Isaac Leet. We're now heading down the national pitch straight. There was a defensive move there from Alessandro Finn as Campbell Adams got close and close once again, but that's really upset his run out of Kopp's corner as here comes Gottschalk to the inside line. And again, just like Yerne Dosvan, just backs out of it, no better of it, and going for a move there 9 out of 10 times will end in disaster. So DRS open once more as we head down the hangar straight. Is Dosvan going to go for it this time? No, backs out of it. What about Campbell Adams getting closer to the back of the Ferrari in front? Gottschalk is pushing him through Stowe corner. He could go for a move maybe into here. Bogdan Moldovan trying to force a mistake from the Mercedes driver. He tried sneaking out from the train. And once again, it's line astern. No moves being made as we head down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight once more into Aintree. And it is just all fair game, all line astern, and no one really going for that risky move just yet.
It's really great to see 10 drivers within DRS of each other, as that's Bogdan Moldovan looking to the inside again, just causing a little ripple effect, causing mistakes out of Gottschalk and Dimas, but he also made a mistake as Paulo Afonso retires from the session, the first retiree of this race, and he is coming into the pit lane. But yeah, 10 drivers, just all with their separate race strategies, although they seem to be remarkably similar with those medium compounder tyres strapped on, but with the tiny little differences that they can have in their strategy, it can have a huge effect on their race that they are running. And quite a few of them at the moment seem to be trying to force a mistake out of the man in front. But at the moment, Jonas Dovzan, he's closer than ever to the rear of Kai, although I've said that for about 3 laps in a row, and it's been true 3 laps in a row. He's been bump drafting the McLaren through 2 laps of this Silverstone circuit. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not, because Kai's going to make a move on Lighty. Attack is the best form of defense, and Kai goes for another one. Big wobble on the exit, though, and Dovzan was not expecting it. He was not ready to pounce upon it, and so he stays in that P3 for now. He'll be kicking himself that he wasn't able to take advantage of those 2 opportunities, and that might make him go for a slightly riskier move as they head through now the first couple of corners. Dovzan could be making a move. Could he pull to the inside? He does, and then goes back to the outside. But Exafox, his race just gets that much worse as he picks up a 3-second time penalty. Daniel Gottschalk and Bogdan Moldovan fighting away. Moldovan's exit is compromised, and that will open the door to Alex Dimas, who pulls alongside. DRS is open for the both of them, and Bogdan Moldovan has been boxed in by Gottschalk. It's to the inside for Dimas. Can he pull this one off? Indeed he can. Moldovan isn't going to give this one up in a hurry, but Dimas hasn't quite given enough space for a car's width, and Moldovan is forced to stay behind in that P9. Fair but hard racing is the definition of this race so far, and Dovzan, could he be making that move into Kopp's corner? Not Stowe, as I've been identifying it pretty much this entire race. No, he can't, and Dovzan will stay behind for one more overtaking spot on this circuit. So will Campbell Adams, as both of those drivers will be incredibly frustrated with the positions that they're in at the moment. You'd think that they'd be fighting forward. Dovzan, though, I think he'll be a little bit more at peace because he's still holding on to that DRS. He's not in the position of Lighty. There's moves being made as Dovzan, he was frustrated with that position, and he's moved up into P4. the P2, the Haas, goes ahead of Kai. And Isaac Leet is who I was looking at because he almost went for a move. Again, it was another move. Attack is the best form of defense. And Isaac Leet sort of forced Dovzan to make that overtake on Kai. This time it worked out for the Haas. But the next time it might not work out so well. Campbell Adams is hoping that someone forces him to do something soon because he's staying in that P6. And Bogdan Moldovan dropping even further now as he's fighting with Lucas Beisner. Dennis Langrock still 1.7 seconds behind, but we could be seeing 3 more drivers join the back of this queue. Langrock, Van Unen and Bidzinski, who have been scrapping away over the last few laps. I'm sure we're going to get some incredible onboards after this race, at least, as Van Unen moves up to the lead of that pack. And the TTM driver, fighting away with the TTM driver, comes out on top. P11 is his. P10 will be his. He'll be hoping soon. But it all depends on how quickly they can catch up to the back of Beisner. But I don't think they've got the patience to deal with what everybody else is doing here. So they could be bringing a gun to a knife fight. And, well, at the moment, we're almost reaching the halfway point of this Grand Prix. And I think that's exactly what we need.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're nearly at the pit stop phase, and here comes Campbell Adams on Alessandro Finn. He's decided to pull the pin on the move, and he's looking to the outside line. This could put him under pressure from Gottschalk if he gets it all wrong. He doesn't get the move done on the Ferrari in front. That was his best opportunity yet. Decided to go to the outside line, and around Stowe, that's not really going to work into your hands. So as we exit out of the Vale chicane and into Club Corner, will we see Campbell Adams try go for a move into Village? He's been strong through Abbey and through Farm Curve. And you can see Alessandro Finn already thinking about defending that position into the first braking zone of the lap. And that just shows how strong Campbell Adams has been through that first part of this lap. So DRS Open once again for everybody behind Lighty, getting closer as Campbell Adams. He's just going to not go for it this time around. Save that battery behind the Ferrari. It's a little bit wide though from Alessandro Finn through Brooklands. This will affect his run through and out of Lovefield Corner as we head through Woodcote as well. Alexander Dimas also waiting in the wings to make an opportunity of Daniel Gottschalk in front. Of course, Moldovan, Dimas and Gottschalk, all 3 race winners so far this season, and they are all line astern. So for Campbell Adams, this is all focus on the championship. That 5-point lead is not much. If he makes one wrong move, that championship lead can be a thing of the past. So DRS Open once again as we head down the hangar straight. Is he going to get close enough this time around to go for a move? No, it's nowhere near as close as he was on that last lap. Look at the top 3, all neck and neck. They're just pushing each other through these corners at this point. Is this top 10? And still nothing being made of an overtaking opportunity from any of these drivers. But pit stops will be happening over the course of the next 3 or 4 laps. That's when we'll see drivers decide to get off these medium compounded tyres, put on the red-walled softs, and fight it out all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. The second stint could be a lot more action-packed than the first, and Campbell Adams trying an opportunistic move into the loop. Wasn't able to get it done on Alessandro Finn, who reacted very quickly. Brilliant defence from the Ferrari. Man, the prancing horse lives on in that top 5, and Campbell Adams still frustratingly is stuck in 6th place.
He will be kicking and screaming, desperate to get ahead of Alessandro Finn, but at the moment, just the opportunities that he's spotting are too opportunistic for him to make a move, and Daniel Gottschalk will be applying that pressure onto the Williams, trying to maybe force a high-risk mistake out of Campbell Adams, or a high-risk move at least, on Alessandro Finn, because the Mercedes sees Campbell Adams as his way forward, as his ticket into the top 5, and Adams is just, he's setting up a move on Finn once again. DRS is available for all of the drivers in this top 10 pack, apart from, of course, Lighty, and we could be seeing a move for the lead. We could be seeing a move for that P3 spot between the 2 McLaren cars, but Isaac Leet just tucks out of it. Is anybody coming into the pits this lap? Indeed they are. I believe that is Daniel Gottschalk, and that is also Bogdan Moldovan, who have come into the pits, and they're switching off of those medium compounded tyres. Of course, they're switching now onto the softs, as it's Gottschalk, Moldovan, Langrock, and Van Unen who come into the pits. Softs are bolted on to that Mercedes car, but who's going to be out quicker? Is it going to be Moldovan, or is it going to be Gottschalk? Is it going to be Langrock, or is it going to be Van Unen? The answer is Gottschalk's going to beat out Moldovan, and Langrock is going to beat out Van Unen. They're going to drop to the rear of the field. It's the longest pit straight on this entire calendar. So long that it doesn't even span the entire straight. It has to span the final few corners as well as the first few. But they're 6-7 seconds off of Exafox in that final position of P14 at the moment. And we'll see if the undercut works out. It should work out for them track position-wise at the moment. But they need to preserve those tyres as well as pushing them on the first lap. An ultimatum that they have now lumped themselves with. But for the lead pack, they will be seeing that a couple of them have come into the pits. I'm sure quite a few of them are going to dive in this lap. Although the two McLarens will be trying to avoid that same thing because they don't want to double stack their cars. One of them's going to come in this lap. One of them's going to come in next. Jonas Dovzan is going to make his way past Lighty into the lead of this race. And we will see who comes into the pits. It's going to be all but Leet as they all dive into the pits. Now, when they pick up a 10-second, that's Dovzan with a 10-second time penalty. Devastating stuff then for the Haas. And I thought I saw someone else pick one up. I don't think they did, but for Dovzan, that is absolutely devastating.
It was Dovzan who picked up the penalty. The other notification that came up was for Schummer picking up a 3-second time penalty and now a 10-second. And that's the end of the Kick Saubers race. But for Dovzan, whose race has been looking so well and it's been so strong so far this evening, for it to end off like this by picking up a 10-second time penalty, that is going to be heart-wrenching to say the least. And look at Gottschalk's and Moldovan's one-lap undercut. Perfect timing to come back into the pit lane for Dovzan. Unfortunately, picked up that penalty, but he would have been jumped if he stayed out that extra lap. As Lighty, Kai, Finn, Langrock's got past Campbell Adams as well in all of this. They have dropped all the way down the order, and here comes Campbell Adams on Dennis Langrock. Warm softs versus cold softs into turn number 6, into Brooklyn's corner, but not going to be able to get that one done. It is Campbell Adams, of course, still having to put a heat cycle through those tyres, where Dennis Langrock already got them up to temperature and is able just to push on and lean onto those tyres a little bit more than the Williams driver. But heartbreak for Jerne Dovzan, who looks so certain to at least get a podium in this Grand Prix, and it's all gone up in smoke. He's got Daniel Gottschalk behind him and Bogdan Moldovan, so could we be seeing our first repeat winner of the season? Gottschalk, of course, winning in Texas, Moldovan winning in Qatar, and that could be oh so crucial for their championship challenges, and that would really propel them into the fight.
Yeah, we've got Alessandro Finn and Dennis Langrock going side by side. Langrock trying to propel himself into the fight for this race lead, and the Alpine just switching outside-inside, just being a lot more aggressive than Finn has been used to this race. We've got fastest laps of the race pouring in Ian Van Unen, the first in this race to go into the 127s. But yeah, for Dovzan, that is devastating stuff. He makes his way past Exafox into P3. Probably not the cycle that Exafox was expecting to be a part of. Well, being overtaken because he's gone for the overcut. And now he's going to get absolutely swarmed down the straight. He's already been overtaken by Dovzan, Gottschalk and Moldovan. And he's going to be overtaken by Lighty in quick, sharp time. Lighty as well, looking to the inside line maybe of Moldovan. The overtake on Exafox encouraged him to make that move. And he's thought better of it at just the right time to be able to back out of it. But yeah, Dimas and Campbell Adams, they are drivers who have just not benefited from going that one extra lap. Isaac Leet, he comes out in P10, which is net P7, which is, well, miles away from where he would have been. As there goes Exafox. It looks like he's pulled off of the circuit just to try and avoid everybody else. Or he's just gone into the gravel naturally. And that is not going to be... It's not the race weekend that he would have wanted, especially not to go for his title challenge. Moldovan still trying to warm his tyres up. Kai and Alessandro Finn side by side. Kai taking the lead of that battle as Menno de Bever comes into the pits. Theo Bollners stays out another lap. And so we won't be seeing the organic race leader back into the race lead just yet. As, well, we're seeing more drivers in now to the 27s as the cycles are coming in. Yellow flags are out as Lucas Beisner retires from the session. Disappointing for the Mercedes, and interesting because I feel like he could have gone on to at least get points in this race, but Exafox maybe not so likely, and so he does come into the pits, retiring from the session. The top 10 pack has been split up a little bit more. Kai is out of the DRS now of Lighty ahead of him. He's 1.4 seconds behind. So this could be a fight between the top three. Well, top three. I say top three because Dovzan doesn't 100% count in this anymore because of that 10-second time penalty. And because of how close everybody is this race, that's going to throw him right down the order. But that's not gonna phase him. We know what drivers are like in this tier, and they're going to fight for everything. Even if they've got a 10-second penalty, they're still going to fight on track for that race victory. So don't think that Haas's run is over just yet. He will be hoping for that slim chance that maybe there's an incident right behind him that sees a gap of 10 seconds build up. Maybe everyone else picks up 10 seconds worth of penalties, as unlikely as that is. And Dovzan, he's going to keep fighting for this race victory. Alessandro Finn and Kai are going to keep fighting, as is Ian Van Unen and Alexander Dimas, as Gabriel Pinto picks up a 3-second time penalty. Down the inside goes Ian Van Unen. Dimas with the exit. He can hold on to it. Van Unen's off the track. He could be overtaken by Adams. And they're side by side as they head now down the main straight. And Ian Van Unen, just a little warning sign towards Campbell Adams. Don't try to attack me too hard, because I am going to ward you off. As indeed he did there. And Adams just staying behind, staying in that P12 spot. And for the Williams, it's just been a frustrating weekend. He's been unable to just have that slight overspeed to overtake anybody. And so he is now in P12 out of the points. Not his weekend. At least so far, 7 laps to go in this race. It could all turn on its head. This is how close everybody is. Because we've got, well, the organic race leader down to P12 is separated by barely anything. The biggest gap between all of them is 1.6 seconds between Lighty and Alessandro Finn. So an incredibly tight race. And this is what Silverstone has brought us. And I'm sure we've got a little bit more that Silverstone is willing to give.
Yeah, certainly, and it's been a disastrous evening for your championship leader, Campbell Adams. And there we go, here comes Kai on Alessandro Finn and Isaac Leet as well. Routine DRS swap, because they want to get closer to the 4 cars in front. They want to catch up to that train behind you, and Dozfan, and get into the fight with everybody else behind. But for Campbell Adams, and also for Exafox, it has been an evening to forget so far. And especially for Exafox, 2 DNFs back-to-back, and that is going to hurt his championship chances tenfold. Of course, he would have been miles out in the championship lead if it wasn't the 2 penalties in Belgium, and also in Canada. Sorry, those 2 penalties came, and that would have been a substantial championship lead. They probably would still be the championship lead by this point. Alessandro Finn having to defend from Dennis Langrock into Brooklands, now into Lovefield. The Alpine still trying to keep his nose up the inside. The Ferrari just cutting across. There's a slight bit of contact made, but Langrock able to back out of that move. 1.5 is that gap between Lighty and Kai. Just the slipstream and DRS is really helping that top 4 break away from the rest of the field. Tal Boons is just trying to stay out in his kick Sauber in case a safety car is called. That is what he would need at this stage of the Grand Prix if he wants to try and keep that race lead and try to take his first race victory of the season. Here we are then at the front of this pack. Gottschalk getting past Yone Dozfan. Not only Gottschalk, but Bogdan Moldovan and Lighty as well. Dozfan being mugged by 3 separate drivers into Stowe Corner. Brilliantly done from the top 3 now in this Grand Prix. Finn and Langrock now squabbling once again, this time through the Vale chicane, now through Club Corner. The Alpine side by side with the Ferrari, but no battery to play for Langrock. Makes him subside that position and unfortunately have to relinquish that battle. And here comes Alexander Dimas onto the back of the Alpine, heading into Village Corner and up into the loop. Dimas, of course, looking to try and take that championship lead away from Campbell Adams, but at the minute only scoring 1 point will only bring that championship lead gap down to 4. Here we are then, he's going to attack into Brooklands to the outside line. Goes the Red Bull. Is he going to be able to pull this one off on the Alpine? He's going to try and keep his nose in at Lovefield, not able to do so, and that momentum has now shifted back into Langrock's hands, but we still have this long straight to go all the way up through Copse Corner, Maggots and Beckett's, and down the Hanger Straight. We could certainly see Dimas make that move up into Stowe, and crucially for this train of cars, Isaac Leet, 1.1 seconds, now 1 second behind Yone Dozvan.
Yeah, they are gaining on that front group, and that's because of the fighting that they're having to do at the top as Gottschalk, Moldovan, Lighty, and Dovzan all make their way past Theo Bones, who surely is going to come into the pits in the next couple of laps if he doesn't want to lose too much time. But I think, yeah, he is just waiting for that safety car. But at this point, it's very, very unlikely to be brought out. We've only got 2 more laps, actually, where it can be brought out before he's going to be forced to come into the pits. But yeah, that gap now is down. It is 1.3 seconds between Kai and Alessandro Finn. But the 2 McLarens have worked their way into that DRS range. And this could be absolutely vital for the race. They need to make their way past Theo Bones. And Isaac Leit's done that. As if he's like a moving chicane. It's essentially a very easy move for both of them to make in the end. And they're up into 5th and 6th. Campbell Adams finally making an overtake in this race. But he's going to have to fight for it as he's side by side with Ian Van Oonen. Around they go around Luffield. And Van Oonen just holding on to that position. He's been incredibly racy today in his first appearance this season. And Campbell Adams just being surprised by that. You get to know drivers that you race alongside, as Ian Van Oonen is racing alongside Dennis Langrock. He makes his way up into that P9 spot, and the Aston Martin, he's proving incredibly racy today. Again, as I was saying, you get to know drivers as you race them, but when you don't know them fully, it's an unknown quantity. And Ian Van Oonen today has been an unknown quantity. Lighty, Bogdan Moldovan and Daniel Gottschalk fighting for the lead of the race. In the meantime, they were 3 wide momentarily into Stowe Corner, but Lighty taking the lead of this race. In comes Theo Bones finally into the pits to get rid of those medium compound tyres. But Lighty leads onto lap 23 of this race.
He certainly does, as Gottschalk all over the back of Moldovan, and the 2 McLarens certainly have joined the party. And look at Dosvan, he's still looking to make an impact on this race. May not be able to win it due to his penalty, but he would love to get this one on the circuit. So, out of the loop, and then down the the Wellington Straight, sorry. Are we going to see a move being made by either Dosvan or Gottschalk into Brooklands Corner? No, we are not. Dimas is going for a move on Dennis Langrock further back. He's managed to get that move done on the Alpine, has the Red Bull driver, and crucially, during the battling in that last lap, Campbell Adams was able to get in front of his championship rival. So at the minute, he'll be extending the championship lead by 1 singular point, and that'll be oh so crucial come the end of the season if Campbell Adams does win it by that 1 point over Alexander Dimas. So Gottschalk now just right behind Bogdan Moldovan. He's had to really back off. Not got enough downforce in that car to follow through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. And this has really opened the door for a Dovzan attack. Here comes the Haas driver being squeezed by the Mercedes, who's gone for a late defense. Here comes Isaac Leet round the outside of the Haas driver. Not able to pull that one off. Dovzan now looking to go for a move to the inside into the Vale chicane. Unfortunately, will not get close enough to make that move work in the slightest. We're now starting lap 24 of 26. 3 laps to go here in Silverstone. And this is getting very spicy up the front. We have 6 cars battling out on circuit. 5 able to win this Grand Prix. Who is going to come out on top? And will we get our 7th different race winner in 7 races? So far, with Lighty leading, we are looking on track to carry on that streak.
Yeah, although, I mean, with 2 laps to go, Moldovan and Gottschalk could launch an attack. They're the most likely to take that race victory at the moment, I think. Although Lighty has been able to hold on with everyone else having DRS for an incredibly long amount of time. So it was just that pole position that could make the difference between Lighty taking the victory in this race and coming down in 2nd, 3rd, 4th or 5th with Leet and Kai. They need to make their move past Yone Dovzan as soon as they possibly can with the Haas driver. He's now just an annoyance to them. With a 10-second time penalty, he will just get in the way. And with Isaac Leet, the freshest tyres on the competitive part of the grid, at least in the top 12, he will be looking to displace Gottschalk and Dovzan as quickly as he can. Dovzan, though, he's not going to give this one up without a fight. And he looked briefly to the outside of Gottschalk. And he's looking to the outside once again on Gottschalk into the final corner. But the Mercedes has enough to defend from him. Isaac Leet round the final corner. He seems to have a good run on Dovzan. But Janusz Dovzan, just with that grip on the exit, he's able to hold on to it. The penultimate lap of the Grand Prix then. And we've got a fight on for the race victory. TTM Lighty. He's held this race lead for the majority of this one, and the Alpine driver could be on to hold it all the way to the flag. Although we've got just 3 more DRS zones, 4 more DRS zones even, after this one, with Bogdan Moldovan closing in 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths. But it's not quite enough. There's fights just behind as well as Jone Dovzan gets all tangled up with Goshow. Isaac Leet gets all tangled up with himself, and he drops behind Kai into P6 with the McLarens. Just, I don't know if they tangled. I don't know what happened there. With Isaac Leet, he just dropped down. But Jone Dovzan, he's now got no pressure from behind. He can pressure in front, and he can pressure Daniel Gottschalk for this final podium position, on track at least, because maybe he feels as though he can contest that 10-second. It's hard to contest a pit lane speeding infringement, but Dovzan will do his very best to see that he can stand on the podium at least. In principle, driving just very, very close to the back of Daniel Gottschalk. Not making that move, but it could be one set up for turn number 16 as he heads now around the penultimate corner for the penultimate time of this race. And Jonas Dovzan waits behind Ian Van Oonen, trying to fight his way forward. He's got P7 in his sights, and that P7 currently held by Alessandro Finn. But it is the final lap of this Grand Prix. TTM Lighty currently leads, and he looks as though he's going to hold on to it, but we've got 2 more DRS zones now to go. We've got 1 more circuit of this Silverstone lap to go, and 5 tenths separates Lighty and Bogdan Moldovan. This is where an overtake is going to be made if they're going to make it in a DRS zone. That, well, in a non-risky way at least, as Isaac Leet makes his way past Kai, and Campbell Adams climbs up into P7.
Yeah, they certainly do, and this final lap is going to be oh so spicy. At the moment, Moldovan looking set to maybe take his 2nd race victory of the season, and could be the 2nd race the first double winner of the season. Sorry, as we head through Copse Corner on this final tour of action. Lighty, the Swede, has led the way for this. Hold up, there's contact between the pair. How Lighty has held on to that one, I do not know, but that has given him a good buffer through the Chapel Corner and down the Hanger Straight. But here comes Moldovan with his battery, with the DRS, looking to the outside line, the V-carb. He's pulled that one off beautifully. Bogdan Moldovan heading into the Vale chicane now. Lighty to fight this one round the outside. But Moldovan, when it counts the most, he can say this, no one else can. He's the first double winner of the season. Bogdan Moldovan wins for the 2nd time in Silverstone. Lighty finishes in 2nd. A hard defence broken down within the last few corners of the Grand Prix, with Daniel Gottschalk finishing in 3rd. But for Bogdan Moldovan, the first double winner of the season, and what a way to do it. To climb his way up through the field, be ever so patient, and just make sure he got to the Hanger Straight with the DRS, and he comes out on top. Bogdan Moldovan, your first driver to take 2 victories, and that is 6 winners out of 7 races. The streak comes to an end, but for Bogdan Moldovan, his championship charge is well and truly on.
It's technically 2 race victories in a row as well for Bogdan, as he didn't race last time out in Monaco. But yeah, I mean, his championship charge is well and truly on. He's picked up 16 more points, taking that victory today, and he's moved to, well, he's not actually moved to striking distance yet of Adams, Exafox, and Dimas, but a poor weekend from Exafox and Dimas. And I don't know if you saw right at the end there, Campbell Adams picked up 3 seconds worth of penalties, so he will be demoted down the order, and he's demoted to that final points position. Confirmation then of your grid reports and penalties. Bogdan Moldovan taking that victory from P9, and TTM Lighty just letting it slip on the final circuit of this Silverstone circuit. And he will have to settle for P2. Daniel Gottschalk in P3. Isaac Leet in P4. Then it's Kai, Finn, Dimas, Budzinski, Van Oonen, and Campbell Adams rounds out your top 10. Dennis Langrock in P11. Dovzan in 12th in the end after his 10 seconds worth of penalties. Then Menno de Beva, Gabriel Pinto, and Theo Bulns, the final finisher, with Lucas Bison, Exafox, Adam Schumer, and Paolo Afonso ending their British Grand Prix early.
But what an incredible race we had on our hands. A battle between the top 10 for pretty much the entire race. And then 11th, 12th and 13th for the majority of it were hotly contested as well. But, I mean, out of all of that, how on earth do you pick a driver of the day? I mean, I say how on earth do you pick a driver of the day? I'm going to throw it over to Max. Who was your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Bogdan. He come from 9th on the grid. He just raced that one to an absolute T. Went for the undercut, and that paid out to be so beneficial for him and Daniel Gottschalk. And he was the one who just made it work that little bit better. He waited and just waited all the way until that final lap patiently behind Lighty. He didn't let the pressure get to him from behind, and he came out on top in the end. So I'm going to have to give it to Bogdan. A well-deserved win, and also just for the fact he's the only driver to win 2 races this season.
I think, I'm always one to go for a sort of an underrated shout, and for me, I was a big fan of the way that Ian Van Oonen raced in this one. I know that's a niche shout, but Ian Van Oonen just, he fought his way forward. He demonstrated his abilities, and he showed that he was not going to be a pushover here tonight or ever in PSGL, and it's hopefully a sign of things to come. And maybe if he can have the pace to fight up the front, then we could have another serious few races on our hands. A reminder then of your calendar for the rest of the season. We've got Britain done. That's round 7 of the season complete. After that, after this, we are going to head to the Netherlands next week. Hopefully Myth will be back for that. After that, then we'll be heading to Saudi for the final PSGL action in 2024, because after that, we've got a festive break. We'll come back in January, in the early January period for Japan before, we decide to have another break. Vegas and Bahrain will finish off our season 2 races under the lights in a row. And after that, a champion will be crowned. But we do have a race winner in the waiting room at the moment. Bogdan Moldovan, our first double race winner of the season. Bogdan, how does it feel?
Wow, it just feels amazing. Like 2 out of 2 in a row actually, because I didn't participate in Monaco. It just feels so good to be back. Like I just feel so confident in the car, so confident in myself, and the results show that.
Max, have you got any questions?
Yeah, a few from me. Bogdan, first of all, congratulations on that race win. How does it actually feel to be a 2-time race winner? I know you said you got a lot of confidence in the car, but how does it feel to be the only driver on the grid to win 2 races?
Is that actually true?
Yes, you are the
Indeed.
first double winner of the season. It was 6 out of 6 for new winners.
Yeah, as I said, like I just feel I improved a lot going into this game. I don't know if you guys know or anybody knows. I took quite a bit, quite a large break between 23 and this game, because I was just fed up with the game and with everything. I didn't want to touch the game anymore. But looks like taking a chill mentality to the game and everything just helped me a lot. Like I'm not stressing that much now on the races. I'm just doing them, and whatever happens happens. And it looks like for me this is the mentality I have to go with.
Yeah, and to be fair, sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, sorry there, Cockcast. Yeah, it seems like the mentality you're taking at the minute, Bogdan, is absolutely just monstrous. It's just you're so calm under all that pressure. I mean, how did that final lap feel, especially with that contact with Lighty through Maggots and Beckett's? Was that a bit of a heart in the mouth moment on that final lap?
Yeah, it was like 120 BPMs. Like it was just crazy because I had to manage the gap in front and also in the back in order to not be pushed to overtake Lightly and be the leader in the final lap. I managed to do that, but then in the last lap I could see Lightly trying to back us up make something happen in behind him so he could save some positions. And I don't know if that's true, but I feel like he lifted a bit in Maggots and Beckett's, and I got caught up by that, and I got a little tap on his back. But fortunately, we got out of that with no incident, and yeah, I was able to overtake him at the end of the straight.
Was that something you were planning to do the entire race? Was it about just trying to wait for that moment from Lighty where he was trying to back the field up, and was it just about trying to take that advantage when you could? Because we did see a huge train. Was it just looking forward for you, looking at Lighty, or was it a case of trying to attack to defend? We had a lot of that this race where we had someone trying to attack further forward so they didn't suffer pressure from behind. Was it a little bit of that for you?
Yeah, to be honest, you were talking about train. I think that was the biggest point of this race. Like, I started quite in the midfield, P8, no, P9 actually, and I got up to P8 at the start. And I think my engineers, Danny and Mike, did an amazing job with the strategy. They just put me one lap earlier than everybody, and we were able to undercut everybody. And I think that was literally the key moment of the race, because otherwise I would have been like in the train, P8, P7, something like that, and not fighting for the win. So I think that one lap undercut was the decisive move. And you were saying about the attack to defend. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do the whole like last 3-4 laps. Just not be pushed in a position where I have to attack lightly in order to defend from Daniel behind. And I think I managed the gap to lightly, always going into the hanger straight to be around 6, 7 tenths in order to not be pushed into overtaking him in order to defend from behind.
Max, have you got any more questions for Bogdan?
Yes, one more question, Bogdan. Of course, confidence levels are on a high at the moment, and hopefully they stay that way for the rest of the season. Does this race cement yourself as a championship challenger, and are you looking forward at the races ahead, thinking the championship is well and truly within my reach?
Well, I'm kind of sad I didn't get to race Monaco, even though I was not expecting that much from Monaco on this game, because I don't really like the track, but every point counts. But now we can't do anything about that race. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to fight for the championship. If it's on a table and I can fight for it, of course I'm gonna do it. But we gotta see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do next week.
Thank you very much, Bogdan. We'll let you go and enjoy your race victory. But yeah, very well done.
Yep. Thank you very much, and have a good night. Bye bye.
Wonderful. Good to hear from our race winner there, Bogdan. And I think this is where the stream will come to a conclusion with well, a hell of a lot of action around the circuit, the Silverstone circuit. Our home race definitely delivered, didn't it, Max?
Oh yeah, it certainly did deliver an absolute classic. It may have been a slow start with the overtakes, but that ending well and truly delivered. I can't wait for the rest of the season to come. Bogdan Moldovan has now just put himself within that championship battle. That top 4 is going to be oh so close. No, top 5. No, top 6, sorry. Just looking at the championship standings. It's going to be oh so close heading into Zandvoort. It's going to be a mere matter of points separating that part of the standings. Daniel Gottschalk and Isaac Lee still got outside chances in where they will be in 7th and 8th for this championship, but it's still very much game on here in PSGL PCF4, and this championship has just got all on.
Yeah, and well, if you've enjoyed this action, make sure to tune in next week where we head to Zandvoort for what will most likely be another thriller with well, it's a circuit that's even more pertaining to drivers being incredibly close together. Also, you could draw out quite a few mistakes, so make sure you stick around for that one. But until next time, it is goodbye.